Good morning, everyone. Well, unfortunately, I was correct. We had a pop-up thunderstorm last night. Brought in a couple tenths of rain. What is that, like 5 millimeters of rain? I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait on the ground to dry off a little bit this morning. The sun is out and it's gonna be a warm one, so it shouldn't take too long to do that. Hopefully today is another productive day out here on the farm. We have a few difficult decisions to make in regards to what we should be planting and what we shouldn't. The weather today is warm and sunny. However, over the next 10 days, it is going to get very, very cool again. With corn, we have to make very special considerations as to whether or not we should be putting it in the ground. Corn seed and seedlings are very susceptible to poor conditions at the beginning of their life. We're gonna get after it, scouting the fields this morning. I'll take you along for the ride. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more. Let's get to work. This is our first field of corn we planted, went in the ground about a week ago. This corn has had very supportive weather for the first week of its life. Let's do a little dig check, see where it's at. There it is. It's already putting a root down. It'll probably take another 5 to 7 days for this to make it through the surface. We'll put you back, buddy. We're just across the road from that field checking on these soybeans that were planted 4 days ago. You can see the soybean seed is swollen up and it's putting out a root. Soybean seeds are typically faster to emerge out of the ground than corn. We'll put that guy back. We need every plant we can get out there. We're not trying to take them out. Perfect toss. That one's had its better days versus that. Ideally, one sweep will last about 2,000 acres. It depends on the type of soil they're going through and how deep they're running. Realistically, they last far less than that as they hit objects in the field. That's why we have to keep an eye on them and change them as they're needed. Even though their arrangement looks random, there's a sweep every 6 inches across the bottom of that field cultivator. Anything else?
Just all sweeps to have, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really need a bunch. Due to the virus, our Deere dealership has made a few changes.
15 minutes, I can't even put cars up right now.
You need to sell some popcorn out of this window. Dad just ordered a coffee. This is Dad's normal coffee spot in the morning. He's got to hang out outside. As you can see, the ground is still a little bit damp from that rain. I'm going to go no-till into some corn stalks on the east side of Route 45 there. I'm going to check the oil in the tractor, let it warm up a little bit, and we're going to get to work over there. This actually may be the last field we plant today. I'll give you guys a better explanation on why that is later. Well, no one messed with the tractor overnight. That's always good. I've heard people say that you're better off leaving a bottle of whiskey in the seat than you are locking your doors. Because if someone wants in this glass house, they're gonna get in. This bridge isn't even as sketchy as the one I'm about to cross. Approaching US Route 45. By far, my least favorite road to drive on. On a long and lonesome highway, east of Omaha. This is the sketchiest bridge we have. One year, Dad cut it a little short with the 60-foot planter. We had to bring a wrecker out here to lift the planter off. That way it didn't fall off of the bridge. The issue is that you only have so much room to turn on the road, and this is one of the busiest roads in our area. And we're off. We're gonna make quick work out of this field. We're gonna double check the depth on this seed. That's about 1.5 inches. Do I have any more room to back up? This is just what you have to do to make sure you don't leave any blank spots in the field. The markers also serve as tree trimmers. Gotta make sure I get close enough that the rabbits have something to eat. Something's not quite right. It's not shifting. I guess I'm gonna try to turn it off, turn it back on again. That's not good. Better write that down. I guess I can try one other thing. Restarting the battery. Sometimes just turning the key off doesn't completely drain the power out of all the systems. So I'm gonna try a hard restart by shutting the battery completely off and then restarting the tractor. If that doesn't fix, I'm gonna have to call a service tech. No luck. This seems to be the troublemaker here. Primary hydraulic pump pressure sensor 2 circuit fault. I'm in our 8285R tractor and it's throwing an error code for a steering component failure 522787.03. Sometime after we finish this field, we're gonna have a service tech come down and fix it for us out here. This isn't really a major issue. These tractors just do not like to operate at full capacity unless all of the monitoring equipment is working correctly. I actually don't know if I can even really take this down the road. Limited to 9th gear, I'm going about 6 miles an hour. Stop beeping, I get it, it's broken. It feels like I'm absolutely crawling through this field, but 6 miles an hour is the speed you're supposed to use these planters. I like to go a hair faster than that. I've just got a lead foot. Beans do not need the level of precision that corn does. And why not cover more acres? It's reminding me that it's broken. I probably ought to get this stick. We're done. It just took a lot longer than I was hoping it would. We're gonna leave this here for the service tech to work on it. The John Deere tech got this tractor fixed up, sensors replaced. We're already over this direction. There's no reason to leave it out, so we're gonna take it home. This bridge sucks from either direction. Ah, home sweet home. Wait a minute. I literally could not make this up if I tried. There is probably enough room to slide a piece of paper in there. I thought I was about to hit it right there. Should we plant today? I hate to be here not planting when it's as beautiful as it is outside. When we look at the 10-day forecast in the rain tonight, it does not seem like a statistically safe idea. I know what you guys are probably thinking. It's 85 degrees outside, Andy. It's beautiful. There's a nice breeze. This ground is working out better than it has in years. However, tonight there's a chance of a severe thunderstorm, and temperatures tomorrow are going to dip down into the 40s. For the next 10 days after that, they're going to be between 60 and 30 degrees. The first 1 to 2 days a seed is in the ground is arguably one of the most pivotal time periods in a corn plant's entire life cycle. Cold rain on freshly planted corn within 24 to 48 hours can cause major problems in emergence due to a phenomenon called imbibitional chilling. Imbibitional chilling is caused by cold water rupturing the cell membranes in the seeds. The rupturing of this cell membrane causes cell solutes and sugars to be emptied out in the seed zone. Soil-borne pathogens feast on these nutrients and in turn have a negative effect on the young seedlings. This interference can show as many different symptoms that appear all the way until the end of the growing season, although this damage took place right from the get-go. The emergence of seed suffering from these effects can be greatly interfered. Seed corn is most susceptible to this effect within the first 24 to 48 hours of its growth cycle. Soybeans, which are much less sensitive overall, have about a 12-hour window where that sensitivity is at the highest. As I've said numerous times, corn is very sensitive to the stand count out in the fields. Even a seedling with delayed emergence can be outcompeted by its neighboring corn plants, whereas in soybean fields, the competition is not an issue. Soybeans are very adaptable to the population out in the field. Where this really affects our decision is when we ultimately have to replant these crops. To be able to go in a cornfield and spot in a specific amount of seeds in a specific area is extremely challenging. The result will be too high of a population and a reduction in yield. Although you do not want to have to replant, soybeans are much easier to replant than corn. And if they're interseeded in with an earlier crop, they tend to adapt well to the conditions and not become runts. Soybeans can practically be spilled on top of the ground and still yield north of 70, 80, 90 bushel an acre. If corn is not treated correctly, it will not produce well. As farmers, we cannot predict the future. We can only play the hand we're dealt to the best of our abilities. I want to give a shout out to Paul Yoder, our agronomist at Pioneer, who does an excellent job explaining these things to us as farmers. That way we can make the right decisions and have a good crop. The planters may be parked for the day, even the next couple days, depending on how the weather unfolds, but that does not mean we cannot have the field cultivators out taking advantage of these dry conditions. This is a great opportunity for us to get ahead on working corn stalks, as well as getting the weeds out of some of our bean stubble. We also have some other projects that we've been waiting on dry and firm field conditions to get done since last fall. We have a good list of tile holes out in our fields that need repaired. So Dad and I are gonna go do that. The field cultivators are up to the northeast working corn stalks. I just want to plant. Dad found this tile hole with his combine last fall. Hopefully the planter driver doesn't hit that one. That's exposed right there. That's not very deep. Usually we can't use a shovel.
Usually you're not using the shovel.
Work smarter, not harder. About 6 inches. We're gonna need some dirt to fill that in. It's always nice having a good pile of dirt around. We've got the dirt, we got the tile to fix it. There we go. We're working with some old clay drainage tile. And how old would you say this tile is?
At least 60 years, because I don't remember it.
Years ago, subsurface drainage was installed by hand and they used clay tile. Modern day tile, which is what we're replacing it with, is plastic. Perfect fit. We like to cover the patch job with the broken pieces from the old tile. You can't even tell it was ever broken. Didn't even leave a mark. We've got a lot of those around the farm we gotta fix. Found another one.
Don't jump down in there and break it.
Oh, that's a big piece. I'd say go with like 12 and a half. Good as new.
This one probably the bulldozer got.
I wouldn't be surprised if the anhydrous knives wouldn't hit this. That tile's in a lot worse shape than we thought, so we gotta get the backhoe for this one. Sprayer's about caught up. I told you this was useful. That took a long time. This thing is slow. It's gonna be a pretty long project by the time we're done with it. After all this digging, we finally found some water moving in the tile, so we're getting close to the spot.
This one's broken full.
We don't keep that much tile on hand. I feel like it's gonna pop out like one of those cans of snakes.
I have a problem.
Oh no.
I know I was gonna do this much, I would have my boots on.
Unless you had a highly trained eye, You barely even be able to tell we fixed something out there. It's sunny enough today that I can feel my arms getting a suntan through the back of the backhoe. This thing is really good at digging, but it barely even has enough power to move its own weight up a hill. We got all of the major tile holes patched up. We need solid ground to get work like this done. This is the first opportunity we've had to get out in those fields and fix those tile holes. If we're not proactive enough, those tiles can fill up with dirt and have to be replaced. Wow, that looks bad. That's probably farther away than it looks, but wherever that is, they're getting a nasty storm right now. I'm not a betting man, but I think we made the right call. That is a nasty storm about to roll through. This looks eerie, but man, look how beautiful this cornfield is. Our neighbors across the farm are just cracking into a pretty big field of bean stubble right ahead of this storm. You better grab another gear or two, buddy, or you're not gonna get that done. I'm not quite sure that I should be holding my drone controller right now out in this lightning. Look at the wind coming in on the drone right now. Oh my, I gotta bring this thing in right now or this is not gonna be good. I can't afford to lose this drone. Ah, run! Where are you? Oh man, oh man, oh man. Talk to me, Goose. Rule number one is don't panic. Holy crap, guys. This is bad. This is very bad. I should probably get inside. I can't believe people are out working right now. This may end up being a downpour. Good morning. Welcome to part 2. It's Thursday, it's a little chilly, and it rained. Just a little over 1/10 of the rain gauge. I'm not quite sure that it all got in. The wind was so strong when it was raining, it was probably missing the gauge. Like the video if you haven't, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into today. That wind is brisk this morning. Temperature's about 45 degrees. I don't have enough clothes on. A few of our farms are probably gonna be dry enough that we can go ahead and work some more ground. I doubt we'll plant it all today though. We're checking on this tractor that's been giving us troubles with the oil in the coolant reservoir. It's a little low on oil and it looks like there is more oil in this freshly replaced tank. It's our high-tech dipstick. I don't feel like that really told me anything. You couldn't tell a lot from our high-tech dipstick, but there's a slight oil film in the reservoir tank. We've been keeping a close eye on this tractor because of those problems I mentioned earlier in the year with the oil seeping into the coolant. A little damp up here. Due to the storm last night and all the wind we've had today, we have a random piece from our field tile stockpile that's rolled all the way to the south out there. I should probably go get that. Hopefully it's not muddy. Okay, it's straight over the hill right here. It's a good way to run to the east. We've got a tailwind. That looked a lot smaller from the road. It also looked a lot lighter than it is. Now we have a headwind too. This was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Almost to the finish line. I had to stop and rest for a moment. About an 8-foot tall piece of 18 to 24-inch tile. Pretty heavy. Ugh. You're grounded until you stop running away. Tomorrow we're planning on planting some soybeans. The variety we're planting is a shorter season Group 3 soybean, whereas we have a little bit of 4.0s left in the planter. The difference between the 4.0 and the 3.0 soybean maturity is enough that we want to go ahead and dump the planter. That way, come harvest time, the field does not mature separately. We'd like it all to be ready when we get out there with the combine. There are conveniently placed doors on the bottom, specifically for emptying out your tanks. That's some of what was left over. Barely made a mess, right, Dad?
Which is normal for us making a mess.
Got to make sure those are locked up so we don't spill it when we load it. The seed tanks aren't perfectly clean, but this transition from a longer season bean to a shorter season bean isn't something that really requires perfection. If we were changing herbicide trait packages, we would definitely need to ensure that the planter was completely sterile before we put in the new beans. We will need these at some point in the future, which reminds me. Always label. If I was just randomly driving down the road, I'd think there was a crime going on right here.
There is.
What is it?
Working.
Sammy looks very majestic blowing in the wind. This is the perfect kind of weather to be inside. greasing. Between this planter and that one, we probably have over 100 grease circs to keep track of. Time for a new tube.
Uh-oh, don't get dirty.
I literally got grease on my jacket zipper. 4 tubes of grease later, and they're ready to go. Now we wait. 36 gallons of diesel fuel does not last very long this time of year. We're hopping in my favorite piece of equipment on the farm, the backhoe, to head over to a farm down to the east. This farm has a little 1-acre section on the back side of it, separated by a creek and some trees, but our grass pathway in between the wooded areas is so washed that we're not comfortable taking any of our equipment across it. I'm gonna zip over there and do a little dirt work on it, and hopefully we can repair it to a state where the planter can get across it without causing any issues. You always gotta get this thing for the tractor. It's all about having my tunes. Look who just arrived home. They've been gone for a long time. They're probably topping off on fuel. Here's the little strip of farm ground that I'm talking about that's tucked away. The field cultivators did get back here, but they did not use our lane. They cut across our neighbor's farm, obviously with his permission. Never mind, I was definitely wrong about that. The field cultivators did cut through here. Maybe this perspective lets you see a little bit better how aggressive of a dip there is going across this tiny little stream. You'd hate for one of your row units to bottom out on the back as your wheels were coming across here. So we're gonna get it fixed. I will probably use the hoe because there's a lot of dirt that needs moved in there to slope that out a little bit less. I should have mentioned this the first time we got the backhoe out, but if you are not completely and entirely familiar with the area you are digging, always, and I mean always, call a location service. There is no winner when you tap into an electrical line, a natural gas line, a phone line, an hydrous line. I can almost guarantee you that if you tap into a natural gas line with your backhoe, it's not gonna be your problem. You're gonna be dead. First farm that we fixed a tile hole on yesterday has a massive natural gas main running through it. We were fortunate that we could just use hand shovels to dig out the tile and replace it. Our family has managed that farm ground for decades, and we would still not go digging out there first without calling Julie. We're just trying to take the slope off of it a little bit. We're gonna have to go to the other side though. Okay, we're gonna try and cross this. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Oh man. Definitely a little bit stuck. If you play your cards right, you're never stuck in a backhoe. That could have been bad. You've always got something to pull you out with. I've had this thing buried above the fenders before and dug my way out. I guess we're gonna have to finish up from this side. This is my finished product. I'm not quite sure if I made it better or worse. I may have created a booby trap. Player might come across here next few weeks, sink into that and need pulled out. I guess we'll see. And the backhoe needs a wash. Geez, as if I'm ever gonna clean the backhoe. Yeah, right. Hopefully the mud's off before I get to the road. I'd hate to track that all over. Well, everyone, that's gonna be the conclusion of this very windy day. It's no fun to be this chilly after the span of 70, 80 degree weather that we've had over the last week that's allowed us to plant so much of our crop already. The field cultivators are still out here taking advantage of dry conditions to work up corn stalks, plugging away on this field. I was really hoping to get you some more drone footage of the field cultivators in action, but it is extremely windy today, if you cannot tell. I already almost lost my drone last night when that storm rolled in. I think I'm gonna play it safe for the rest of the week. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for all the support. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you want to see more, and comment if you have any questions. Have a great night, guys. Peace.